Hello everyone, welcome to LCM and GCF and prime factorization tutorial of how to do them. I'm calling it a tutorial because why not? I'm kind of at the moment, doing whatever at the moment. Prime factorization, LCM and GCF. So let's first start off with the prime factorization with 64. And then doing a factor tree. Since it's even, it'll go evenly into 2, which is a prime number, so circle that. And then the other number, which will divide 64 in 2, which equals 3. And that'll be 6, and that'll be subtracted 0. Bring down yellow 4. And then pop a 2 in there. Alright, you got that 2 in there. So now you know it's 32. Okay, good. Alright. 32 will also go into 2 evenly. But why is it not a prime number? And why is this one a prime number? Because it cannot be divided equally unless it's 1 and itself. So 2 times 1 is the only thing that'll divide it into equal. So, like that. So, circle that. As always, and then 2 times 32. That's a 6. Two. 1, 2, 1, drop down the 2, you get, and then you put a 6 in there and you get 16, because you subtracted it, whatnot. So, fix that, and now you've got 16, which will also go into 2. Circle that. 16 basic math facts. 8. 8's not a prime number, so it goes off into 4 into 4. So in 4 into 4, let me just show you that. In this factor tree, go into 2. Wait, 2's right there. Okay. So there are about, there was a total of 6 ones. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So it's total. So, but there's an easier way, since there are 6 2's, 2 squared by 6, which equals about the same of 10 to the power of 3, which would be 100, except you're not adding zeros. You are adding, well, not adding, you are multiplying 2 times 6, which would equal 12, which is the answer. Or, so that would mean 24 times 2 equal 48. There you go. So now let's move on to the GCF of things, which would be called greatest common factor, and which means you're going to use, say for example, 2 times 4, which are the 2 factors of a multiplication sentence, and which equal a product of 8. So that's basically how that works, except you're gonna find the greatest common factor. Give me 1 second, I gotta drink water. Of let's do 10 and 15, why don't we? And I'll show you. Okay, so 1, 2, 5, and 10. That's pretty bad. I need to fix that. One, 3, 5, and then 15, which is pretty bad for 15. Alright, so here they are. 5 is the greatest common factor because it is in both lists and is the highest. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 5, and then 10 and 15. So 5 would be your answer, slash whatever is on the question, and then you circle it to show your teacher that you did it. Now, since we got the GCF out of the way, we shall go to the LCM, which is not as sloppy because I actually did better because the letters are better. I actually went through that in 2 minutes. The reason I'm going so fast is because I don't want the upload to take forever, because last time I tried that it was like 54 hours. I'm like, because I did the math and I was like, wow, are you serious? But back on subject, LCM, greatest common multiple, would equal 10, which would be 10, 20, which would mean you're adding 10 or multiplying by 2. So, now that you know that, let's go on to the list of numbers, such as, let's do 10 and 15. Well, 10 and 15 again. 10, 20. Alright, we've made it past our numeral, which was 10. So let's go 15, 20, 30. We passed it past our numeral again, which 20. This is how I do it. You can do it just by listing, but I don't suggest doing that, because if you do it just by listing, then you're going way too far out and you're not going to find the least common multiple. Because if you're going far out, you're not really gonna... Oh, I'm counting by 5s, aren't I? 1 sec. Let me just erase that. You're counting by... no, you're not counting by. You're going way too far out. And doing that, just keep on doing what I'm doing here. Such as just listing as you go. Till you find it. You'll eventually find it. Like, you might miss it, but you'll find it eventually. Like, you'll be like, oh, I snapped it now. I got it. Okay, that's what the least common multiple is, and that is 30. Okay? 30 is your answer, plus whatever it is, and if you have a word problem, circle it all, or just circle this. Alright, so now we know the LCM, and now we need... I'm always checking this constantly because I want to know the TAM, but now we are going to do a different way. I just wanted to show before we end the video and whatnot, and that is using a Venn diagram. And in order for this, we need a factor tree. This is why I said why we should do prime factorization, because this is what you need in order to do the second method. So, 18, 12, and you do the factor tree for this. It's kind of sloppy, but that's the 12, and this is the 18. So, now that this is the 18, we're going to do 2 basic math. This is basic math. 3, 3, 2, 6, 3, 3. Okay. Now that we got this, we can make a Venn diagram, which is, they have in common 2 and a 3, and then a 3 on the outside and 3 on the outside. And then the GCF is going to mean what's in the middle. So that would mean, that would be 6. GCF. But, in order to do all of this, to figure out the LCM, we need to multiply everything. So, let's multiply it. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 times 3. 4, 4, 2, 3, 5, 50. 54 is what that looks like. Is what it is. 54 are going to be our LCM. So let's remember that, and let's do, what was that, 18 and 12. 1, 1, 2, 2. If you want to say it with me, go ahead. I don't care. Is there a 4 in this? I know there's 4. There's actually a 3 in this. There's a 3 in this as well. This looks pretty similar at the moment. There's a 6. There's also, I did something wrong. In order for this list to work, you say you have to do it in order. There's a 4. There's a 6. There's the 12. Alright, so 3, 6, 9, 18. So can you guys find the GCF? The GCF is 6. So that would mean answer is 6, which was correct. Whatever the word problem says, then circle, or if it isn't a word problem, just the 6. Check the LCM now. 12, 18, 12, 18, 24, 32, 36, 48. Let's catch up here. On this side, 60. Alright, so let's continue with 40 and 72, 8, 72. Well, I don't need those. Now what's wrong here is that it doesn't look like it's correct because we did something wrong in the multiplication, which I don't really use. That's why I don't really use the Venn diagram unless I have to, because the Venn diagram I find to be quite confusing sometimes with some numbers. That's why I don't use it some of the time, not all the time. Alright, so we're at 60 already. That seems familiar, doesn't it? That seems familiar, don't it? No, we didn't. We did 12, right? Well, 12 and 18's LCM would be 60, so 60 or 72, I think it was for the LCM for 16 or 12. Just in case if I mix that up, I did that anyways, just in case, because that does do that. So that's exactly how you do the second method. Thank you guys for watching this first part of whatever I make, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Hope this helped. Bye bye.